typical day for a buoy boy, there's nothing typical about it. We like to have fun, but we also work really hard.
I love this job. It basically encompasses everything I enjoy doing. It's got adventure, protecting the environment, saving the world, if you will. The Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary is part of NOAA. We're responsible for markers and moorings up and down the Florida Keys.
I've been blowing bubbles for about 10 years now. Or banging tanks, blowing bubbles. It's just another name for scuba diving.
The mooring buoys are really important to the protection of the reef. They're an alternative for boaters, whether they want to go snorkeling or fishing or scuba diving. Instead of dropping anchor and potentially damaging the fragile benthic environment, the coral is very sensitive to anchor damage.
Probably the best part of the job, and that's once you leave the deck of the boat and you get to jump right into the water. And at that point, that's where everything just becomes beautiful. That's our little bit of heaven. We descend that downline, you get to see all the beautiful coral and the fish, and those are our friends. That is probably the best thing for a buoy boy. It's our sanctuary. Once we get to the bottom, we have our new downline in hand. We attach that to the anchor. That is attached to the boat.
It's basically out with the old and in with the new. Take the old one off, and the topside crew on the boat pulls all of that stuff back onto the boat.
We take care of just about 1,000 moorings.
It adds up to be about a literal ton of synthetic rope every year. We have to use the plastic synthetic rope because we found that it's really the only material that'll hold up to the underwater environment.
Typically, we're looking at a 3 to 5 year lifespan, depending on the diameter of the line. The marine environment, it's harsh. And over time, you get the UV rays that end up splintering the downline material. So we're talking about little splinters of plastic, microplastics, which we all know is an issue. And that's what we're trying to avoid. While we're diving it, we come across a lot more trash than you might think. You see it every time we go out. We pull that stuff up as well. It's a constant reminder that there is no way. When people talk about throwing things away, out of sight, out of mind, but it's got to go somewhere. It really, really hurts us right here when at the end of the day, we used to pull those down lines out of the water, bring them back to shore, and then deposit them in the dumpster. And from there, they'd go up to the landfill up on the mainland. What we're trying to do now is prevent that plastic from traveling into the landfills and finding a better use for it. After about 4 years of research, looking at all different companies, that we've come to finding Brightmark that has a closed loop system repurposing this plastic. We don't want to trade one pollution for another.
Now we get back to shore, and that's when we start processing it, send it up to Brightmark. We cut it down into about 2-foot segments, pressure wash it, and get it as clean as possible.
We're going to take those materials and turn them into shreds and then pellets. And then with our process called pyrolysis, we're going to, in an eco-friendly way, recreate the building blocks to remake plastics.
Now, we can feel really good when we come back to shore because we know that our downline material isn't going to the landfills anymore. We're being able to give that 3-strand polypropylene a higher purpose.
In partnership with NOAA, for the necessary plastics that they have to use, we are now able to create a circular solution, which in the end will avoid plastics from getting back out into the ocean environment.
How do we eliminate this waste of plastic that just seems to be unavoidable? Partnering with Brightmark, now we can go home at night and go to sleep knowing not only are we doing a great thing for the reef, but also we're not contributing to the overflowing landfills and contributing to plastic in the ocean.
We can actually have a meaningful dent in what we know to be a huge, huge problem, not just here in the Keys, but also globally. With these small wins, I can't tell you enough that it puts a new shimmer in my eye, and we're just super hopeful. It's just the beginning.